What up, guys? Grady here at Grady's Gear, and today I'm going to do my full review on the Fellhoelter Tibolt Mini. This guy right here. Now, I've had this for a little bit now. This is a recent acquisition, and I mentioned on my videos of the Nottingham tactical pins that I've done the tie clicker mini and the tie button mini, and this one was a gift from Lee Nottingham Jr. himself. He let me keep this one, and I've mentioned in my videos on there that when I was looking into the high-end EDC pin world, that the two names that kept popping up for the absolute best was Nottingham Tactical and Fellhoelter pins. So I recently seen on Instagram, actually on Knife Joy, that they had actually gotten a batch of some Fellhoelters in. So I was like, okay, and I went on their website and they had a bunch to choose from, which is kind of a rarity. I haven't seen that big of a drop in a long time. So I had a bunch of choices to choose from. So I went with the standard. I jumped on it. I ordered it, and great shipping from Knife Joy and everything like that. It just comes in a plastic tube, the same as a Nottingham Tactical. Nothing really special there, so I'm not even going to bring it out. But I do have my opinion of this pen, and I'm going to be comparing it a lot to the tie button that I have because they are very comparable in size and construction. And actually, I was speaking with Lee the other day because he has my tie clicker. There was an issue I was running into with the clicker mechanism, and I sent it out to him to check it out, but we were chatting, and he actually said that him and Brian are good friends. They actually work like 75 feet apart. Their buildings are that far apart, and they've collaborated and worked together on quite a few projects. So that's really cool, and I definitely wanted to have both pins from both of the top EDC pin guys out there. I just thought it'd be cool to own one from each of them. So I went with a Tibolt Mini. And there's good and bad to it, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's get the price out of the way right now if you're interested in how much one of these cost. I told you that the standard tie button is $150. This one cost me $175, so they are comparable in price. This one's a little bit more expensive. This one is the standard, but it has these milled pockets right here in the titanium, which is really cool. To me, it gives it this industrial look, which I just really like on my gear. It looks really cool on my gear. I like that look with the Nottingham Tactical tie button. I think that's really awesome. But the other one that they had was just plain. There was no milled pockets or anything like that, and I believe that one was $165. So $10 more, and I got this kind of configuration. They do come in different milled patterns. They had a dragon scale pattern. They had these hexagon looking things on there. Just tons of different options to choose from. They also had some copper on there. They had full size pins, shorter pins. I've mentioned before, I prefer the mini pins for their portability. You know, they're just very compact, very easy to carry. I have no use for a full size pin. I don't use a pin that much to where I need one a full size. My riding sessions are not that long. So let's go over the build quality and the the overall aesthetic first. So for the build quality, this thing is on par with the Nottingham Tactical. Very well done, very highly finished. Tons of machining on this thing like you would expect at a pin at this price point. Still on the cap right here at the end. It's silent until I go to pull it off. And it is using a Lamy. If I can flip it over, right there. Whoa, where did the spring go? There it is. Okay, so it is using a Lamy M22, which this cartridge isn't the most, you can't really just go out into your, Office Depot and find one of these. I don't think it's difficult to find, but it does limit what you can use for this. So that's kind of a negative for me. As far as writing experience with it, it writes perfectly fine. It's perfectly adequate for my writing usage. But where the tip? There it is. But I'm not writing essays like I said, and if you ask me which one I prefer, I do prefer the Pilot G2, but that's just my own preference, guys. So take that with a grain of salt. I find that this writes a little bit smoother. This writes smooth, just not as smooth as this. But it does write perfectly fine. It's perfectly adequate if you're just doing your signature, doing normal writing. You're not writing constantly. I mean, even for that, I think it writes fine. I just prefer the Pilot G2 Mini. Great build quality. It carries fine. The retention on the pocket clip is great. I have no issues or worries that it's going to come out of my pocket or anything like that. The bolt right here is awesome. It's extremely fidgety to sit there and play with. Very positive on that spring tension on there. Very, very good. Just overall, a well-built pen. It'll last you a lifetime, guys. This could be an heirloom that you hand down to your kids. I have no doubt in my mind that this will last that long. So another pro for this pen is that they're extremely customizable. You can change the clip. You can change the bolt here. The internal on here, you can change that. There's different tips and all kinds of different materials that you can get. You can get skulls and all kinds of stuff. The aftermarkets for this are ridiculous. What you can do, you can turn a $200 pen into a $1,000 pen real fast if that is your thing. So that's a pro for this. You can definitely customize it to your liking and make it yours. So that's a huge plus that I really like. That's also the case with the Nottingham Tactical. You can do that with these as well. So overall size on this guy is 4 inches. The size on the Nottingham Tactical is 4.25, so you're getting a 1/4 inch bigger on this guy right here. So, I mean, pretty much that 1/4 inch is just the button right here on this. So in terms of size, they are about the same, guys. I mean, they're not much. So, it is a mini pen. Overall, I do like it, but there are some things that I don't like, which I'm about to talk about with you guys. So let's start with the pocket clip. For me, personally, this thing is ridiculously long for how small this pen is. It does not need to be this long. And it actually becomes a problem when I'm writing with it, which I'll get to in just a minute. The second thing, this is a pro and a con. How big this ball is right here is a pro and a con for me. The pro is that I can easily actuate it without even looking. I can find that bolt and actuate the pen. So that's the pro to it. The con for me with this is when you actuate it, it comes all the way out to almost to the back of the pen. So when I go to write, this is how I write with the clip this way. That ball is right in here. You guys can see that. It is right there digging into my finger. That absolutely drives me insane. I have to spin this to the side to where the pocket clip's touching my finger and then go to write with it so I don't have that ball in my way. For me, that's just not ideal. Now, I've gotten used to it from the time frame that I've had it for a little while now. I have gotten used to just naturally doing that and having it fall and write with it, and it's not really a big deal. But here it comes into play with this long ass pocket clip. When I go to write, I don't want to be way down here when I'm writing. I always choke up like this when I'm writing, and that pocket clip keeps hitting me in the thumb. Not only is it hitting me in the thumb, because I wouldn't run into that much if I could hold it this way. That little flare up right here comes out to where it would be out of my way if I was writing like this, but I can't because of that ball. I flip it and I can write fine, but now it's digging into my thumb when I'm trying to write. Now, I know some of you might say, well, that's because you're left-handed. No, it's not. I can do it, the same thing. This is where being ambidextrous comes into play. Look at that ball. Still digging me in the finger. Writing, still digging me in the finger. I still have to switch it. Now, I don't run into the issue with the pocket clip as much right-handed as I do left-handed, but that ball is still bugging me. I don't like that I have to rotate the pen around that way to write. My natural way of writing is like this right here with the pocket clip facing me. That's just my natural way of writing. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it doesn't bother you, but it bothers me a little bit. You know, at the price point, and I know some guys are going to be like, well, if the pocket clip's too long, you just said that these things are fully customizable. You can buy a shorter pocket clip. You can buy a shorter bolt. And yes, you're absolutely right. I can. But here's my thing. I don't have to do anything to this. It doesn't matter which way I hold it. I don't have to do anything with this. Around the exact same size, except for 1/4 of an inch, which is just that button right there. Look how small that pocket clip is. Doesn't matter which way. I can have it way over here, way over here. The pocket clip's nowhere near. Even if I choke up here, look how far up I am. Pocket clip's nowhere in my way, which is great. For me, when I buy something that costs as much as this, and I mean, let's just be honest, this is a pen, it's just it's a writing instrument, you know? And this isn't a knock at Fellhoelter or anything like that. This is a great machine pen. And if you get the full-size version, I don't think you'll run into those issues because it's longer. The bolt's going to be up here and out of the way of your finger. Same thing with the pocket clip. If you buy the full size, which I see a lot of guys do, they're not going to have that problem at all. But for me, I like the mini pens. And so when I buy something like this, if I have to customize it to improve the functionality of the product, not the aesthetic. You know, I mentioned that I was thinking about getting a different tip for this. I apologize, guys. I'm a little under the weather today. My voice sounds scratchy. I'm sorry. I mentioned that I was going to change the tip on this, that I was going to possibly get a milled pocket clip for this. That's all purely for aesthetic. I love the pen so much, I want to make it mine so I can improve that overall aesthetic and just make it look awesome. If I were to buy those parts for this, it would be to immediately replace them to make the pen function the way that I feel it should function for me out of box. If that makes any sense. I don't know if anybody else thinks that way. If I have to, when I buy a product, if I have to immediately change something about it just to make it function for what it is, that's a negative for me. That's like me buying a dull knife on purpose just so I can sharpen it. You know, that's not ideal for me. And please don't take it like I'm making a knock at Fellhoelter because they make some awesome pens. I love this pen. Overall, my review is good of this pen. I think it's awesome. And I have gotten used to being able to turn it to write with it and stuff like that. But when I first got it, that was my initial reaction was, you know, I'm having to do a lot of extra thinking just so I can have a good writing experience when I use it. The only thing that's keeping me from selling it is that I don't use a pen 40 times a day. I mean, I do use a pen every day, but not 40 times a day. So it doesn't bother me. But I want to let you guys know about this in case you're thinking about picking up the mini version, specifically the mini version. Because if you get the full-size version, I feel like you're not going to run into any of those problems and you're going to absolutely love it. And that'll be it. And I've seen a lot of videos on the full-size versions, but I just haven't seen that very many videos on the minis. I've seen pictures and stuff like that, but I haven't really heard about anybody who actually is using them. I've seen a lot of, and I'm not trying to rag on anybody or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just see a lot of pocket jewelry kind of photos and stuff like that. And for this model in particularly, function-wise, it's just you have to do some extra steps to have a very enjoyable writing experience, whereas this one I don't have to do that. I could just pick it up, open it up, and write. So I mean, if you guys were to if you're in the market and you know you're like I can't decide Nottingham Tactical or a Fellhoelter, I would tell you if you want a mini pen. Now if you want a full size, then whichever floats your boat, I'm sure it'll work. Both of them are great and they'll work fine. But if you're going for the mini specifically, this all day compared to this, because of that bolt getting in the way, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. If that doesn't bother you and you just prefer the bolt for the fidget factor, then go with this. I mean, it's your choice. I just want to let you know from my experience, my writing experience, I just have to think more about it when I'm using this. Still great build quality that you're getting with this. Both of them are fit and finish wise fantastic. They're great pens. I've been swapping back and forth between these two. My tie clicker is with Lee right now, having warranty work done. So once I get that back, I'll be swapping between the three. I've been highly enjoying them. But this one in particular, the mini, you know, it's just got good and bad, guys. It comes down to personal preference, and if you can handle, you know, all the things that you have to do to get a comfortable writing experience. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. But overall, it's a really well-made pen. I may get a shorter pocket clip and see if that improves, or I may not, you know. Not sure yet. But I have been enjoying this, and it looks really cool. I just love that industrial look that it has. The girth of this, giggity. The girth of this, I love the thicker pens. I find them to be more comfortable for a writing experience. So I really like that. Same thing goes for this. I don't like the thinner pens. I find that I write better with these thicker ones on here, and I really like it. It's a cool pen. If I would have known I was going to run into a lot of these issues, would I have bought it? Probably not. Or I might have, just to do a review on it. This is going to stick around for a while. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. We'll see. Only the future will hold for you know, what lies with this. It may just be sold, and then I might move on to something else and try something different. But as of right now, the limitations of availability for this is why I kind of want to keep it around, and that's just the collector in me. They're kind of hard to get, and then, you know, people sell them on the secondary, and they can go for a hefty price tag. You're gonna pay a little bit more, so that's the only reason why I'm kind of wanting to keep it around. And maybe for size comparison reasons for this or any future pens that I get, I can use this for size comparison. But I have been carrying it religiously, and the bolt action on this is my favorite aspect of the pen. It's just a lot of fun to play with. So overall, this is a good pen, guys. That's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you liked this video. It wasn't, you know, most of my reviews are 90% positive, and I try to keep it positive and keep an open mind to every product that I review. But this one has just a few concerns for me, personally. That's just my personal preference. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys in the next one.